looking around.
I would advise against you streaming your video.
Right.
It hurts the upload speed.
Okay. How many people can't see me?
They can see you on the animal.
Oh, that's nice though.
It's the same network as at City Hall, so you should be able to log on if you were connected over at 520 morning.
Is there a way we can set up a secret SSID and prioritize that one for council meetings? I know there's a way
about it.
Is that something
Yeah.
we could do? Sometimes we can't even,
The problem is that this building is not fiber yet. So we could do that, but it's still, isn't gonna really help.
what do we get here?
It's.
Some good goes up to like 200 or 400 megabits.
I think we're at 200.
That should be-
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be more. Well, we did. Yeah, they want, well, they're doing the whole, they're gonna have a presentation here next month, next meeting. They're gonna do the whole city fund.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where all our money. That's good. Because they're using it for something.
Yeah, right.
Like $90 for DSL speed internet.
I can't figure out why I pay 100. Everybody else pays less, but I don't know. Surcharge for me.
Well, it's like $90 plus tax
Oh, okay.
fees, yeah,
Oh,
so
that
you're
is
probably
it.
paying the right thing.
Okay. Got it.
Can't blame them for the taxes, that's going to the state.
Well, when I talked to them yesterday, they said, with the fiber, we'll all have credible speed.
So yeah, it's the nice thing about fiber is up and down are usually the same exact speed, which
This is-
cable doesn't provide.
Closing his door.
Okay, thanks, Nick. Oh, you,
Yeah, your key. We'll be in the office.
okay. Because I have to get my TikToks right away.
Yeah. That's one that I refuse to download. I stopped downloading stuff.
I'd rather be on
Instagram.
TikTok
Yeah, I'm just reading it.
You will. Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Yeah.
The one I didn't do is over the top.
Oh, you're getting there.
It's on that wall.
It's just too early. No, it's better, it's better.
It's too early for this now.
How are you? Okay.
All right.
The car's very, very close to your car.
Meaning, I should be worried?
I mean, not with how your bumper looks, but.
Yeah, exactly, it doesn't really matter. I want to get it fixed, but I'm like, I bought it, I spent $5,000.
It's a bumper?
Oh, I used to see it.
Oh. I'm trolling. I must have missed it.
Pretty bad, pretty bad.
Right, I'm probably late, huh? Am I?
No, just a minute.
Yeah, but I can do
I backed in, when I backed in.
Hey,
You know, the little thing that sticks out?
Yeah.
So when I pulled away.
Ground down to it, you're good to go. So it's probably just the cover.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll get you.
Did he tell you what I said?
No.
Oh, I tell you that. I tell you that.
Oh, okay, you might wanna switch your nameplate. Huh? Switch the nameplate.
Oh, in the mail.
Unless you wanna be DOT.
In the mail as well. Yes.
Oh, man, I was hoping I had a check.
Just, yeah, 1 minute. And then we'll start. Hi, Crystal. Michigan. Okay, the regular meeting on March 21st, 2023 is now in session. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tracy, please call the roll.
Councilmember Anthony. Pascaluty. Here. Frick.
Here.
Harris. Here. Moranti.
Present.
Morris. Here. Roney.
Here.
Sauer.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Wallace. President Pietro.
Here.
Four present.
Thank you. Okay, I need an introduction and a second to dispense with the reading of minutes of the February 21st meeting and place them on file. An introduction, please. Amber
Second.
and Ronnie. Oh, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Please notice that Councilmember Anthony has arrived. Straight from the airport. Oh. There we go. Committee reports have been posted to the city website.
Can we close that?
No. Can you
They're
just
here
have-
for this
open your meeting? They're here for this meeting. No, they're here for this meeting. Can you keep it down, please? No. May I have an introduction and a second to place committee reports on file? Introduction, Duran, second, Amber. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion passed. Okay, we also have communications. Can I have an introduction and a second? Amber and second? Ronnie?
Yes.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion passes. Okay, now time for the presentation. Mr. Mayor Johnson, please do us the honor.
So, good evening, everyone. I wanted to acknowledge the Catholic Central basketball team. They just made it to the state championship. They've had a number of accomplishments on the way. I definitely want to acknowledge them because one of their players is actually from right here in Hudson. So some of their accomplishments, they were the Colonial Council champions. They were the sectional champions. Our Darian Moore was a 1,000-point scorer this year. He did that as a freshman. Colonial Council MVP.
Hey, Dave.
Made the first team, the sectional MVP and all tournament. They were also regional champs. They were, I believe, 4 points away from becoming the state champs, which would have been the first time in their school's history. So I want to, on behalf of the city of Hudson, from the mayor's office and from the common council, acknowledge Darian Moore and the Catholic Central basketball team. Well, a lot of times we make a lot of noise when our young people are doing the wrong thing in our community. So I want to make sure we highlight and
Right.
acknowledge when they're doing amazing things. And he's done an excellent job representing the city of Hudson. So thank you. Congratulations. Anyone on the council wants to say a few words? And a lot of people have followed their journey.
Malachi?
No, I'm honored,
Hold on. Go ahead.
no, I'm just honored, just to be a part of everything. Fellas, I've been following you guys and it's been just a fun ride. You guys just had everybody excited. The whole city was riding with y'all and, you know, you guys made it all the way to the States. Next year, we're gonna get it next year. I've been proud of, you know, the family members too, man. Y'all, I know it's a lot to, you know, endure, a lot of traveling and everything. But Hudson was, you know, right by you guys' side the whole time. So congratulations again.
I want to say, can I say one thing, please? I gotta say, okay. Great coach. Thank you, coach. Thank you. Thank you all to your family members, all of y'all family members, everybody that stuck together with them. This is a wonderful team.
Yeah.
It's in tears right now because y'all, they're great young men. And I'm so proud of them, and I'm the grandma of all of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Proclamation too.
That's what you did.
It just looked like a.
Now we're talking. Okay, I guess we can get going.
Wait, let me give you some pictures.
Here, come in the car. Come on, guys, go.
Hey, you good, bud? Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Thank you again on behalf of Catholic High. We appreciate it.
absolutely. Congratulations again. Yeah, congratulations again.
Okay, so let's get to our resolution. Shaheen, will you put up the first resolution, please?
Come on, let's go.
We'll do the resolutions first, and we'll go and introduce last meeting. Can you hear?
All right, Dave.
So this is A resolution approving the firefighter listing for their service order program. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Anthony. Deskaludi. Brick.
Aye.
Harris. Moranti. Morris. Roney. Saar. Walker. President Pietro.
All right.
Carried.
The next resolution was urging Governor Hochul to sign the bill to Public Renewables Act. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Deskaludi. Brick. Harris. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris. Roney.
Aye.
Saar. Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution was adopting the Family Medical Leave Act policy. A roll call vote, please.
Number 3 is first.
I'm sorry, what?
Number 3 is first.
Oh, sorry. Let's see, number 3, yes. Authorizing a budget amendment to cover the school taxes paid on property acquired through foreclosure. This was explained to us last meeting by Heather. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Deskaludi. Brick.
Aye.
Harris. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris. Roney.
Aye.
Saar.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next is the adopting the Family Medical Leave Act policy. A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Deskaludi. Brick.
Aye.
Harris. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris. Roney.
Aye.
Saar.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution, as I explained last meeting, is for the air rights to the alleyway on the right side of City Hall.
Before we vote, can I just
Yes.
ask a quick question?
Sure.
I didn't read this in detail the last time, so I wasn't able to ask it, but on this one, it says it's a temporary easement, but it doesn't really say how long that is for. What is temporary defined as?
Crystal?
Yep, so temporary is essentially for as long as they have that condenser there. So typically you'd see an easement, it would allow for certain rights to essentially go in perpetuity unless there's a specification that it's going to be for a less amount of time. In this case, if they take that condenser out, then the easement would essentially be ended. If they keep the condenser in there, they replace it with a likewise condenser, then the easement continues.
So what's the purpose of the condenser?
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
It provides air conditioning.
Excuse me?
It's, you know, those outdoor ones.
The air conditioner?
Yeah,
So it's unlikely that it will be removed.
unlikely, yeah.
And they
I
have
would
scale-
put, yes, I would, if you're gonna vote on this, I would vote on it thinking that it's going to be there permanently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I support this, because if it was temporary with the time span, I could understand, but if they have space in their roof, I looked up on Google Maps. Why aren't they putting it there instead of in that
Did
space?
they, Crystal, did they,
It seems like a-
answer that question about the roof?
Hold on, I'm just checking, see, I don't think I have a reason why they're not able to put it on on the roof.
Yeah, it just seems like it's a odd thing to put the city building in.
In
In the future,
It's not touching our building.
It's not, but
Right.
it's,
It's
It's
on
right above
it's on
that.
their property.
It's on their well, it's above our property,
That's why we're getting-
attached to their property.
So apparently, wait, I'm sorry, I do, there was an explanation that was provided. I was told that the condenser unit is for heating and cooling. There is not another heating and cooling solution that's in the back of the building, and apparently their statement is that routing the condenser up to the roof is difficult because of the length of the run. So this is the only other option.
So what is the property of 522?
City Hall.
No, it says,
well, I think it's like a.
Oh, to next to you mean?
next to.
Yeah,
our own-
it's a commercial, empty commercial right now with apartment above it.
So they're putting this, it is or it is not on city property?
It's not on our property, it's above our property.
That's why.
On
It's
the
in-
wall.
It's in the city's right away, like, yeah.
Yeah,
Picture
I'm
this.
not so sure about this, I mean,
Here's the building. Yeah, and this is the condenser on the building.
Yeah, so
So it's
there's,
jutting out
Yes,
into
into the
our
alleyway.
space.
Yes,
So it's not physically on the land,
Correct.
but it is on
our
our.
airspace.
Right. And their rationale is that it's difficult,
Too difficult to put it on the
but not
roof.
impossible.
You also
It's not
lose
impossible.
efficiency with a mini split, if you have too long of a run.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Lose that efficiency.
you lose the efficiency, Margaret, if it's the run is too far.
Yeah,
So basically all of your,
it's a pressurized system, so over time, you lose efficiency with the heating and cooling. So I would imagine if they're putting it on the side of the building, it's a per engineer's request, and they probably have a good reason.
And mind you, the alleyway there is not accessed. I mean, you can go down it, but it's not through. It's not like the other side of the building where you walk through. So there's no, doesn't impede anything.
So if there is an accident, who is responsible? If this
Oh,
thing
they are.
falls,
There.
They are, there's a hold harmless in the easement.
Yeah, okay.
makes sense.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci. Craig.
Aye.
Harris. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris. Roney.
Aye.
Sauer. Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution is accepting senior center donations. Let's see who they're from. Oh, no, this? Okay, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci. Craig.
Aye.
Harris. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, we have a lot of new resolutions. Many of them are fund transfers, so they shouldn't be too controversial. The first authorizes the execution of a contract with Columbia County for use of this station. And I believe it's for the, it's for the Office of the Aging to do their nutrition program. Can I have an introduction?
Is this indefinite?
No.
This is just
It's a 2-year.
because of what we're doing
Yeah,
right now.
yes.
Okay.
Amber, second, Sonia?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
And how long has this been going on?
Good question, what, during the pandemic, they moved it here.
Swell.
Yeah. Any other questions? A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci. Craig.
Aye.
Harris. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next is the transfer of funds for expenses with the firehouse lease. Make sure I understand this one. Oh, this is the audit, which we're obliged to pay for every year. Can I have an introduction? Amber, second. Oh, Ryan. Yeah, you do. Any questions? A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci. Craig.
Aye.
Harris. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizes the mayor to execute change orders with prime contractors for the City Hall ADA improvement project. As you can imagine, as they actually start, new expenses arise. Can I have an introduction? Amber, second. Ronnie? Questions?
Yes, I think that Heather is on, this is what we discussed last week,
It
correct?
is.
Where there's in different levels.
Right, this is establishing a policy for moving
Right.
forward with any potential changes.
And no single one can exceed 15 of that council approval.
Correct.
And if, okay, yeah, this item, yes, we discussed this last time.
Okay? Roll call vote, please, Tracy.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Castellucci. Craig.
Aye.
Harris. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizes transfer of funds within the various accounts in DPW's, Rob Perry accounts. Accounts controlled around her. Can I have an introduction, please? Amber, second? Go on. Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Baskaludi. Aye. Frick.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morse.
Aye.
Sarr.
Aye.
Walker. President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, next resolution, we've seen it before. This is authorizing the settlement of an Article 7 proceeding, which is when someone contests their assessment. I think the supporting document was supplied to explaining the process. First, let me have an introduction in a second. Amber and go on. Questions?
So why was it, oh, sorry,
Go ahead, go ahead.
why there's a difference of 166,000?
That's what was agreed between the attorney and the assessor and the,
Yeah, why was it so overpriced in other words?
that's, yeah, right. I think that, did the supporting document make any? Let's see, I believe the challenge. Of course, the challenge is always that it's in excess of the full value. And I think they were arguing that it was based on a sale price, and you cannot use sale prices in assessments.
There were 2 years.
This whole assessment process, as we've all discovered, is completely fucked, as we say in Yiddish.
Yeah.
Really do.
I didn't know this spoke.
Yeah, a little bit. Roll call vote?
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Baskaludi.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sarr.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizes contracts with Ring Central and General Security for phone services related to the move, the temporary move.
Full screen.
An introduction? Amber, thank you. Second? Devon, thank you. Questions?
Excuse me, I don't mean to sound cheap here, but why 9,000 to move the phones? What is this? Why is it so much?
Michael, I think you probably.
Sure, yeah, so a large chunk of that is the actual phones themselves. We do have to pay for 12 new phone devices because it's transferring from our old system was standard, telephone wires. Now we've moved to a voice over internet protocol, which is more standard now. That requires a completely different phone device. So we weren't able to take the phone from City Hall with us. There's additional labor costs related to general securities as labor to get us all configured in. That did take us a lot of time.
So
To
when
get
we
that
go
figured.
back to, we're taking the.
We'll take those phones with us. yeah.
Okay, and the other ones.
And the other ones will retire, yeah,
So they're IPO.
It's like,
yes.
So, was there other bids? Did you go out for bid? Because we had that done at work and it was much cheaper.
Because of the timing, we had to do it very quickly and we went with our existing contractor, which is General Securities.
What is the time frame for City Hall?
Did you send it to all?
No, I did not. Currently the schedule is to complete in July.
And is this gonna be additional cost to bring them back over with labor?
There may be, but it will not be this much.
Because the wire's already there.
Right, yeah. Well, because it will,
But it'd be
we will be able to just restart the internet that is existing in the building and just bring phones over.
Right.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Baskaludi.
aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Moranti.
I just got one more question. Would the wire still stay, so the firehouse be using the same phone system, or they're gonna be separate? Since they're here already, would they be using IPO phones?
They have been upgraded to VoIP as well. And they have their own.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer,
Aye.
Walker,
Aye.
Present Day Pietro,
Aye.
carried.
The next resolution is an annual piece of business where money that's encumbered is identified. It hasn't been charged back yet. I mean, it won't be a charge back. It's encumbered for the future. Let me get an introduction and second first, please, Margaret. Introduction. Amber, second. Yes, your question.
So the traffic study grant, what is that about?
That's what's left over. That one actually,
Is that what's left over?
that's
from
what's
the
left over. Yeah,
traffic
that's,
study?
yeah, so that's there for whatever. Now,
So,
some of these, some of these are still available. Some of them are not. Some of them will come in, receipts will come in. They
okay,
just haven't yet.
but that one, there is
I'm
one.
pretty certain, yes.
So the
Yes.
question I have on this, and Crystal, I think you're on. One of the things that we were talking about after NICOM was the fact that we could actually get a traffic engineer to certify and allow us to move forward with citywide 25 mile an hour.
Could come out of this.
It could come out of that. And so Crystal, I was wondering, I think you were gonna send me some templates because we need to get, I guess we need to get pricing from 2 or 3 potential traffic engineers. Is that something that you could send to me so we can move forward with that?
Yes, I'll forward over to you what I've received and has been used by the planning board.
I'm sorry, from where?
The planning boards use that to request bids for their engineering studies. I'll do that. I had forgotten about it, but I'll get that out to you tonight.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Chris. Any other questions? A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Gaspaluti.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Present Day Pietro,
Aye.
carried.
The next is authorizing some inter-fund loan for expenses related to this current relocation and mainly really involving computers. So it's JV Computers. Who's our computer person? Introduction? Amber, second? Why? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Gaspaluti. Aye. Craig.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Present Day Pietro,
Aye.
carried.
Next resolution authorizes the transfer of funds for 2022 legal expenses. Can I have an introduction? Amber, thank you so much. Second? Ronnie, thank you.
Oh, Vicky wanted.
Oh, yeah, just looking over here a second. You defer to Vicky?
Yeah.
This is great. It's not like you're signing your life away here. by the way. Oh, in Dominic's case, it might be.
I have no internet, so I can only,
Oh.
I don't know what happened with
Oh.
that. So I have to say it to my phone.
Where are we? We got our, oh, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Gaspaluti. Aye. Craig.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker. Present Day Pietro,
Aye.
carried.
The next resolution you heard about last week. They're having the problem, the police department's had their problem with their radio system. Can I have an introduction and a second? That's Devon and Amber, second, reverse order this time. A roll call vote, please, unless there's questions.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Gaspaluti.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker. Present Day Pietro,
Aye.
carried.
The next resolution authorizes a budget amendment for expenses related to our parking department. An introduction? Amber, second? One. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anderson.
Oh, sorry. Wait, wait. So what error, it says due to an error, does that?
Yeah, I'd like to know more about this.
Good question. Heather, are you on the call on this? I can't see from the.
I am. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, because I can barely hear you now. I was hearing you better before. Yeah, so basically this was just an error in the budgeting process. It had been $60,000 in prior years. Must have been a typo. I will take responsibility for it. It was submitted as 6,000 by mistake, and that was what it was entered as. And so the 60,000 is a genuine real number. It's basically the processing charge that what is now Passport. It used to be under another name, but the people to whom we outsource the majority of the collections of parking tickets charges per ticket to the city for that purpose.
Thank you.
And Heather, overall, so this is a processing fee, like, you know, billing company. What is the revenue coming in that the 60,000 is taken out of?
Yeah, I can, I mean, I can tell you a couple things. I will tell you that parking tickets is, you know, in the six figures for sure, like in the 300s, I believe. I do not know what the current contract is, but I can tell you back in the day when we first brought in the predecessor to Passport, because I believe Passport acquired the company that we originally brought in, and they were charging, I want to say 13.5% on top of the ticket price. So I think it went down from there, but basically it's whatever they collect, they take a percentage off the top to cover their expenses in terms of collecting it, and then they, you know, do an electronic funds transfer into our bank account on a regular basis for the money that they've collected.
So when we get to new business, can we talk about what the next steps are with regard to parking from the study that was presented? Because one of the things that was talked about was moving away from the meters and so forth and moving to a different approach.
Yep, absolutely. And we're gonna continue to talk about that. In a parking.
Sorry.
Sorry, oh, right. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anderson.
Excuse me. Aye.
Deschalodi.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker. President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The last resolution authorizes the transfer of funds associated with the cemetery fund. An introduction, Amber, a second. The one. Any questions? A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Deschalodi.
Aye.
Frick.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
I want to apologize to our Operation Unite people tonight for having to attend one of the more dull things in recent history, but that's a lot of what we do. Just the ordinary business of running a city. Speak for yourself.
This is not dull.
Sorry.
Riveting.
The very exciting business.
We just spent a couple $100,000.
Yeah. Oh, there is one more. We might get some controversy here. This is a list of bills. Can I have an introduction, please? Amber, second. Juan, any questions?
What is that Bonario?
That is our auditor,
Oh,
or the firehouse auditor, actually.
is that every year?
Mhm.
No, Michael, I'm sorry. That's not for the firehouse audit. That is actually for the city of Hudson's independent financial audit.
Oh, which one's the firehouse one?
The firehouse one under this is Shallow, if it's there.
Yeah, it is. Okay, that's why.
Okay, and Bonadio is the citywide one.
Okay, thank you.
What is Azavar Technologies?
That comes.
Again, As of Our Technologies is the provider of our lodging tax registration and tax collection software.
Cool, thank you, Heather. And Edmunds GovTech,
I can help with that.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
code enforcement office and city clerk's software, annual software.
Michael Hoffman? Yeah, that's a sketchy one. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
and Margaret Morris.
Zoom, and I think I mailed
That's
something.
Nikon.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgive you.
I didn't pass a resolution for you to go to Nikon.
I asked permission.
You're all welcome to have gone.
It was very good.
Yeah.
We make a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit for the city of it.
Nice.
Any other questions? A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anthony.
Aye.
Pascaluti.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Harris.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Roney.
Aye.
Sauer.
Aye.
Walker.
Aye.
Presley Pietro.
Aye.
Carrie.
Now, to Margaret's question about parking, we are gonna have a committee meeting to do all the things that we were talking about. And I just wanted to make sure, I know Ryan wants to be on it, and you, of course, want to be on it, Margaret.
Not necessarily. I just want to know what the next steps are, and, I mean, I'm happy to serve on it, but it's not necessarily something, I don't know if other people can hear this or not, but that's very annoying. Yeah, I mean, I think there were some really good, interesting ideas there, and I think, you know, some of the ideas of eliminating meters, going to like pay and display type thing, more up-to-date kind of
Yeah.
stuff, would really increase the number of spots. So, yes, I just want to know what happens next, because I don't want it to just sit on a shelf.
Yes, no, absolutely. Let me just see who else would like, Vicky, you want to be on this committee?
Not formally.
No? Dominic. Dominic's always.
Who is
always-
going to lead the committee?
Well, once we meet, we'll decide that.
Okay, and who do you have at the moment?
So for Ryan and Dominic.
So
Anybody
you
else
can-
interested in
you
that
can put me
parking?
on, that's fine.
Okay, so, I'll set the date. Hey, are you on that? Okay,
This is specifically for parking study implementation.
exactly. That's exactly what I took before. And, I mean, one of the things I learned, I was all excited about doing a kiosk system, but as you saw in the presentation, that's already outmoded.
Yeah.
You know, it's
QR.
for the QR with a couple kiosks, but you don't need as many as
Yeah.
the past. So that's one thing, and of course, there's others. In fact, I sent it recently,
By kiosk, do you mean pay and display?
yeah, those, you know,
Right.
the.
Well,
one box,
right, the new thing is
the QR,
electronic,
right,
and, I don't know how they track it, but it's an electronic process.
well, the same,
And while, you know, if you need to add, you're in a meeting, you need
Right.
to add time,
You
you're
have
on
to
your
go through the
phone,
thing,
you're.
right.
Yeah.
The company that did the study will help us go, you know, put out an RFP for various companies, he'll guide us through some of that as well.
But according to the company, what they said is we really need to establish to have a new board called parking authority.
Well, that's one of the
And
questions.
then
we
from
definitely-
there,
Right.
it's not really this committee. I really think we need to have parking authority.
Well,
and then
we can't just create authority like that, we have to like do the stages. I mean, that's one of the things you said, so,
But, you know, one of the issues, and Vicky, you brought it up. There's 6,000 people here, and we have 11 council members, as well as a full-time mayor and full-time mayor's aide. And surely with 11 people, we can come up with manpower to actually work on something like this, without creating
Absolutely.
another bureaucracy or parking authority or whatever. I mean, that's something we have to talk
well,
about.
right, we're talking about, and there, he said there were like two ways you can do it. One
Yeah.
is an authority that's a very independent
Right.
structure,
Yeah.
or a sort of, just a, or a
And people
committee.
from the residents, it doesn't have to be committee.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't, and the committee doesn't, the parking committee doesn't have to be limited to.
Right, which is,
members of the
I'm
council.
sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was just gonna say, it could be also like our sidewalk project, you know, the independent people involved, excuse me. I also sent, because, you know, I go to most of the planning board meetings. And I sent the presentation to all the members of the planning board, because a lot of them need to know that information that was on there. it's crucial to how they make their decisions about parking needs. For a while, they thought they weren't allowed to, because they, the deregulation, but they are. But they should also know what should be available and what, one of the things I most noticed about the study was the suggestion that we try to activate private parking throughout the city, because there are a lot of lots that just sit empty. And that people who own those lots could actually monetize what they have. And certainly, that with the city center, what?
We would get a chunk.
Yeah, that would be nice, yeah. Anyway.
It was a great study. Overall, I
It
thought
was.
they covered everything.
really did.
So it was very well spent.
So new business from council members.
I just have, I brought up an informal one since Mike's here, just wondering on, Mike, I was wondering on the status of the security paralleling the renovation for City Hall. For hardening, not any manpower, hardening the facility in terms of for the clerks and everything.
That was not a part of our bid for the for the renovation at City Hall, so.
No, I thought because if they're gonna do work that might have to be torn down because of security coming in second, I thought there was gonna be a parallel kind of option. So, so we don't do something now that the security construction is gonna tear down. You know what I mean?
Sure, we have not developed what the security office would look like yet. If it does exist, right? So I can't speak on that.
I think Dominic is trying to say is like, he suggested that if there was like a barrier for the clerks,
Mhm.
and if it was to be put up in a future date, it would incur, double cost, because you kind of have to break down something and fix it, rather than trying to set up for it now. And then maybe even in the future, you can add it, but it would be already kind of, is that what you were?
Yeah, because
That's
the
what you're
plans are
talking
there. and
Well,
it's-
It's more efficient to do it at the same time.
Are they taking down the current barriers?
Well, they're lowering the counter.
There will be a portion of the counter that is lowered for ADA.
Right.
But they're not taking down, it'd still be the same
It
barrier.
will still be the
So you're
same
not
barriers.
losing any. It's not like they're putting something in that would then have to be taken out again.
Well, in terms of, yeah, but if they're going to do some reinforcement above with glass or making sure that to the ceiling, they want to make sure that there's a weight bearing, to whatever the counter is going to be, that is going to sustain that weight bearing. Right? So, I mean, even if there's, whatever's going on now, that a company can say, okay, if you use this, whatever is a steel plate or whatever you need, it's gonna have to have this much weight to bear it. So, I mean,
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Peter Bugiano. Right now, Dominic, those ideas are great, but the problem is we have bid the project with a certain defined set of specifications and drawings. And to do anything now would be considered a change order, which has markups to it, which are, like 20%, 10 and 10, 21% typically. And to redesign what they have already designed is going to be architectural costs. We're running into some of that situation with the lowering of the ADA accessible counter, because we had located it in a certain area, and now it's been determined that maybe it needs to move. So that wasn't accounted for. And when the drawings went out, these contractors bid on what the drawings say. So it would cause quite a bit of difficulty in scheduling and fees at this moment to do that. So I really don't know what to say about that with the current contractor. Plus, we don't really have any details on what you're looking for, which a security type consultant may assist with identifying what is necessary or what could be helpful.
well, my thought would be, the current plans that they're doing, that if a security consultant sees those plans and then work with the current plans, that's there. So then when they can come in, they can work with those plans. What I foresee, I'm not talking about security guards. I'm talking about hardening the, behind the counter. So there's no way, there's a secure door, there's a secure, you can't jump over the counter. I mean, right now you can jump over the counter. So securing that. So with the current plans, having some kind of security company, look at something like that.
It's a difficult proposition. I mean, it can be done. It just get ready for additional cost because it will be expensive to do that at this point in the project.
Well, that's why I mentioned it before, but okay.
Peter, did you have something else you wanted to talk about?
I did, Tom. If, I kind of spoke to you and, or sent an email out regarding a situation. So as you know, we start a project. The project has some asbestos to it. I'm talking about City Hall ADA project. And we identified a certain amount of asbestos that had to be removed to accommodate the specifications, relocate the gas meter so that they can work in there. So when we went in there and some of these recent change orders, I want to thank the Common Council entirely for your support and quick action, and Heather, Treasurer Heather, for helping move those change orders through because the contractors are on schedules, and if they don't get what they need, they leave, which causes another problem with mobilization again and cost, et cetera, et cetera. So in determining the specification, there was a set number of feet of asbestos wrap on pipe that needed to be removed so that they could relocate that pipe and relocate the meter and bring the lift structure down below the floor to accommodate it. So in doing that, when they did the survey, they identified 400 more feet. So the entire basement of City Hall. So let me back up. We identified a cost for that. We just issued that change for that cost. We know what that is to accomplish the project as it is. However, there is additional asbestos wrap pipe in the basement of City Hall, which is about 415 additional feet. So what condition is it in? It's so asbestos becomes hazardous when it's disturbed, friable, broken. So if those wraps become broken and it becomes friable and somebody's working in there, it gets in the air, you're breathing it, that becomes a problem. The condition of some of the existing wrap is not that great in my opinion, and in the consultant's opinion. It's fair. It can remain as long as it's not disturbed. However, to do it later, we have asbestos removal firm here mobilized. They have encapsulated. The building is vacant. So if you say, hey, we'll address that later, let's just move ahead with the project as specified. Later on, the cost to remobilize and to do all those things, to encapsulate, to vacate the building for the period of time would be expensive. So we asked the consultant, the asbestos removal consultant and our general contractor to give us a proposal to remove the entire amount, all of the asbestos wrap pipe in the basement. That's 415 additional feet, and then remove it and rewrap it with insulation so that it remains, proper for its intended purpose. The cost of that is $51,000. And it wasn't anticipated. It's not part of the ADA project. The ADA project can move forward with what we have already in the specs for removal. But I just wanted to raise this question to the Common Council and say, we have this opportunity. If we want to remove the entire amount of asbestos wrap pipe in the basement of City Hall, it would cost us another $50,000. That's with everybody mobilized. That's with the contractors in place. That's with the building vacated. It's very disturbing to staff when we have to vacate the building, obviously. So I don't know where to go with this. I just got the proposal today. I didn't have an opportunity to move forward with doing a resolution, but if we can have some discussion on it tonight to let me know what your thoughts are on removing the entire amount of asbestos in the basement.
Peter, is there any
Margaret?
Yeah, Peter, how does that 50,000 compare to the current cost of the asbestos removal that they're doing? Like what portion of it? Is it half again? Is it, how does it figure in the overall cost for the asbestos removal that you got in the contract?
Right, so we just got an emergency approval through BEA to remove 53 feet of asbestos pipe and rewrap it. And that was $12,000 for 53 feet. This is 415 for 50,000. I didn't do the analysis like that, I apologize, but just to give you an idea, 53 feet, go ahead.
I guess the question I was asking, what, you have this emergency thing, but in this project, was there built into it a determination that you're gonna have to do asbestos abatement? Was that part of it, or you just had the emergency one?
Asbestos abatement was always part of this project because we knew we had to relocate some existing pipe and reroute it because we needed to install the lift on the east, right, on the east door, which meant that we had to go down below grade to accommodate the structure of the lift, which is interfering with the gas meter and the piping.
So the question I'm asking is, since you have this emergency thing of 12,000, the question I'm asking is, in what was being budgeted and estimated for asbestos abatement, what was that figure?
I don't recall, I don't think we had a number at that time because I don't recall what the number was in the project for asbestos abatement. It was 40, there were more feet involved. I don't remember what the number was, but the new number of the 53 feet is comparable in dollars unit cost to what was in the figure. So we had a lower number of pipe to be abated, but I don't recall exactly what the dollar was for that. But it ended up being 12,000 for all of that.
That's just the pipe, there was also abatement upstairs.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a handle on
Yes,
what does this
Yes.
50,000 look like in context?
yes.
Is this an additional 50,000 to something that's 150? Is it an additional 50,000 to something that's 10,000? And those are two very
I
different.
think it was closer to the probably closer to the 10,000 figure because there was only a budget for about 50 feet. So I can't imagine it was a large number.
But there was something upstairs.
There was something
right?
upstairs too.
There was also abatement upstairs.
Right, but that number, that 43 feet specifically, the 12,000 for 50 feet was specifically for the area beneath the floor where the lift is going. And the upstairs was in the number as well, but that was sufficient to cover the material removal upstairs until we realized there was some funny material that they discovered after they removed the initial layer, which turned out to be not asbestos, thank God. So we didn't have to deal with that. That was not a hot product there. We could just remove that. So that's a good thing. But
So, Peter, I think since, you have the guys on site that are doing this, the pipe piece is 12,000. It doesn't sound like there's a huge upfront cost to getting them on site and encapsulating and setting up their tent to, deal with the abatement. So I'm not sure how much, other than the inconvenience of moving people out of the building, I think we need more hard numbers on what exactly would be involved. So if it's okay for now and we leave it, what's the additional cost? That's what I'm trying to get
And
at.
it could be done during this project.
Right,
So that, they'd have to reset up again, but it could be done.
right,
It wouldn't mean everybody moving in and out.
right. But I'm trying to get a handle on the numbers.
if you decided to do this, let's say you said, let's do it next year, let's find some money for it next year, it would be the 51,000 plus some escalation, plus the mobilization, plus the tenting, the new cost. There would be additional costs for the setup and the remobilization and evacuation of the building for a period of time.
Peter, is what I was trying to get at.
Right.
What is the actual cost of mobilization? That's what I was trying to get at.
I don't know what it would be for this we didn't ask that question for them to give us that number to do it next year, for example. We just said, what is it going to cost while you're on site, while you're here, while your staff is here? What's it cost? And it's 51,117.
John, would you have a question?
Yeah, so two things. First, is there any environmental grants that we could tap into? I know the time frame now, but we're talking about future. And also, what's left? Is there a way to try to figure out if the 51,000, within a budget of another company? Just because that company's there, I get it, but, what's the comparison to another company doing the same exact work?
Those are all good questions. I guess the main point to you to consider from my perspective right now is, do you want the remaining 400 feet of asbestos wrapped pipe to stay in City Hall? Because we can continue the project, they can leave the site, that pipe can stay there as long as it's not disturbed or destroyed or touched with people working down there. Then there's no issue with it because it's not friable until it's broken open or damaged. But
Right.
just know you have asbestos product that's in the basement.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Covert. Arthur, you want to?
Yeah, hey, Peter, what is the likelihood that we're gonna need to touch this again in the future? Like, are we solving for a problem that, for all intents and purposes, we're not going to have? Or is this?
Yeah, that's a good point. If no employees go down there and there's no need to be down there, no one runs something up against it and it breaks open and it starts getting in the air. That basement isn't in great shape. I don't know if you've ever been in there, but it's not in great shape to begin with. But it's certainly not conducive to a normal day-to-day business activity to occur down there. I know the meter person had a cage down there that did some work for a while right around those pipes. Those pipes are there when you go down the stairs, you can see them. So to your point is, if you don't abate it, what happens? It's been there for a while. If it's not disturbed, I guess no harm, no foul. But, if you go to sell the building at some point, they know there's asbestos there. What does that do? I don't know. Is there a return on investment when you sell it and it's abated? I don't know that answer. But, I guess to the bottom line to your question is, if it's there, it's not disturbed and no one's going to be working there on a regular basis, just know it's asbestos.
What is the basement currently used for? You were saying that Tracy.
Storage documents.
We're kind of moving away from those, right? Where did it have?
There's a lot down there.
I have a question.
Yes, Vicky.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
sorry,
seems to
let-
me,
let-
yeah, it seems to me that we can't really go with this with probabilities. Because, yeah, the chances of something will happen is rare, but at the same time, we can all move back there and it can happen the next day where there is a problem with the pipes, something bursts down there and work needs to be done. And then we're endangering the employees to something that I feel, to me, health is a priority, needs to be addressed
And
now.
Right. So just so you know, contractors and plumbers for the piping won't work on hot asbestos material. It has to be removed before they can even work on it. God forbid one of those pipes breaks. I don't see that. I don't know if that happens. I can't predict that, but they would have to, God forbid something happens, you'd have to remove all that asbestos first. You'd have to vacate the building and have them come in, abate it, and then let the contractors work in there to repair the structure. But I'm not advocating one way or another. I'm just bringing it, I feel obligated to bring it to your attention about the situation because we have an opportunity to correct something now or somehow protect it. And there's no real way to protect it. You can wrap it, it's wrapped now, but no one really wants to handle that material.
Right, Peter, how long, the current contractor doing the abatement, how much longer are they there for right now?
We expect them to leave without any additional work by Friday.
So you're saying, you're asking us, could we do something by Friday? To keep them there?
If you would like, yes, if you want the entire amount of asbestos wrapped pipe abated and rewrapped with new insulation, it would have to be, they have to be known before they vacate the property, which I think right now is Friday.
So I leave it to the council. Do you want to? Oh, sorry.
This is an actual question. I mean, we're talking, is there a middle option of potentially like framing out the pipe or like, I know that they make this like pipe encapsulation sealing systems. I know it's not like not a permanent solution, but at least it prevents people from accidentally bumping into it and getting the asbestos particles airborne. I mean, I think that they would probably be the best people to ask about that. I mean, obviously they have an incentive to upsell us as well. I'm not saying that that's happening here at all, but like, if you're in the asbestos removal business, you don't want to sell.
The wrapping is generally done by like general contractors. Abatement people don't even.
They won't do that.
They only do the removal, I think.
Okay,
I think you're talking about like the plaster of Paris situation.
yeah, something like that, or even, I mean, just like a framing around it. It's like in the, I mean, I assume it's like under, like, yeah.
It's not, just so you know, it's, the framing option is not an option. The where the pipe is not an option for that.
Peter,
Rewrapping it, I believe, requires still air monitoring and some monitoring of the work. We talked about rewrapping it. I think that's probably as expensive. They have a certain type of material they use. I don't recall the name of it at this moment, that they wrap it with, and there has to be a certain type of conditioned environment when they do that work. Actually, I don't know what the cost of that would be, but we did discuss it, and I think it was similar in the abatement dollars.
Arthur?
Peter, is your recommendation to take care of this problem now?
I think, my opinion, for whatever it's worth, is, you are in a situation, and I hate to put this to you because, it's a hard situation and it's $50,000 and, it was unexpected, but, let me just go back and say that asbestos has been there quite a while. And, some of the contractors asked me, why wasn't this addressed, when you bought the building or, years ago? And I don't know the answer to that. But, I think right now, if there was an open pot of money, my situation too is, it's dollars, right? So some of it is money and having money available. I don't know how many other change orders that we may anticipate. And you saw in Heather's resolution that we're limiting the dollars available. So in an optimum situation, I would recommend that since you have the tenting up, you have the office space vacated, it's the perfect time to get this done. Then you don't have to worry about it ever again. You don't have to worry about any claims or anybody saying I bumped into it, I have this condition, down the road, all of that goes away if you do it now. I know it's a hard decision. And that's why I'm here tonight bringing it to you, because I really, I don't know how to move forward with it, what you're thinking, but so,
Heather, Heather, you have your hand up. Would you like to contribute to this?
Yeah, I just have the boring financial side of things. So I just want to make sure we're all clear on where we are from that standpoint. If I remember correctly, there is still enough money in the contingency to cover this expense should we choose to do it. That will leave virtually no money left for any additional change orders. And I don't think any of us thinks that that's reasonable for a project that's going to continue for 6 months from now. So if you wanted to go forward with this, you could have a special meeting with a resolution before Friday to basically use the majority of the remaining funds that have been allocated toward this project. Having said that, that leaves you with two options. Option one is we do another resolution to amend the bond resolution for the project and increase the amount. It's currently for $475,000. That combined with the reserve that we set aside is, basically just enough to cover this and maybe 5 or 10 grand left. The other option would be to decide whether or not we as a city want to spend some of our existing fund balance against this as a project and therefore not enter it into debt. So I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that. If you want to go forward with this, we do have the money in place, but we would need something else in place to allow for basically any other change order that comes through on the project going forward, because this will use up, everything that we have appropriated. And legally, we cannot enter into an agreement including change orders if we don't have the money appropriated. So I just want to make sure that's clear. And anything I can do to help, obviously I will.
Thank you. I want to remind you, and not that this is a definite thing, but we are selling the 2 properties in April. That doesn't mean they're going to actually sell for certain, but it is a one-time infusion of cash that, you know, we haven't allocated for anything. So there will be potentially some money available that wouldn't have to touch the general fund. Margaret.
Yeah, so, you know, in general, leaving the money to one side, I think I agree with Peter that dealing with something, this has come up, here it is, this is the time to deal with it. But I would actually really like to see some hard numbers, Peter, on what the actual cost is of having a company come in and do their setup to do the removal. How many thousands of dollars is that versus the cost of the actual abatement piece? Because I'm not sure, I still don't have any grasp of how much money we would be saving by doing it right now, making a decision before Friday, without getting bids from other companies or figuring out if there's another way to do this, because we don't know. It's like, oh, you're gonna lose $3,000 if you don't act by Friday, then I'd be inclined to say, well, that's tough, but we need
I
to.
think it's pretty easy if we can extrapolate from this current project and what they are charging us for the setup.
Right.
Right, but that's what I was trying to get at
You
before.
understand? In other words, Peter, we're not saying postpone it till this project
Right,
is long done. We're saying they have time to come back while this project
yeah.
is ongoing. So there wouldn't be a displacement of people.
And then the other thing about, you know, the setup, I mean, I think Dominic's right about, you know, I think you said this, Dominic, what are, you know, other bids from other companies, what do they look like? Even if they're moving out and they're finished with what they're doing right now on Friday, they could leave their setup in place for a week or two while we try to figure this out. It's not like they have to strip everything down right away.
They might have other jobs.
Right?
Sure.
I just want to clarify, what I was trying to say is that this company that's doing the abatement right now, they must have given us an estimate saying this is what our setup cost is.
Exactly.
So we just take that number and if we have a special meeting regarding this, we can judge
We need that
on that
Okay.
number, like this is what the future cost is.
So Peter, you think we can have that by Thursday?
I'll see what I can do. I will also discuss with the contractors their availability to overrun the time Friday. And, you know, you raise an interesting idea. I mean, you know, if we miss this deadline with this current contractor and the situation is, we will still be vacated, as you point out, through July anyway, right? I guess there's an option to reconsider, but there will be mobilization. But the problem is you won't know what that cost is until after this contractor currently is gone, has left the site. So at that point, you lost that option if there was, you know, a value there. So
Which is why we'd like to see the cost.
I will reach out to the contractor tomorrow morning.
Yeah, all right. Shouldn't we have those numbers in
Yeah,
the
when they
original
did the
proposal?
bid, wouldn't they have put in an itemized bid with, this is what it is to be set up, this is what it is per foot, blah, blah, blah? That would have been in the itemized bid.
So the way it worked is, so we hired a VMJR, right? They're our general contractor. They went out and hired the plumbers, the subs, the construction, or the asbestos abatement company. We hired the monitoring company because it's an independent view. So they don't give us those numbers. They just plug in a schedule of values for abatement contractor. The abatement contract, Sullivan Contracting. So they got a number from them. We paid VMJR $669,000, which included that setup. So I don't have that mobilization dollars, or even if they gave that mobilization cost, they just gave them a price. What we do have, though, is a proposal of a change order that basically outlined what the abatement cost is, what the repiping is, what the supervision is, et cetera. But they didn't break it down to a point for us in terms of mobilization, et cetera. So that's how that went.
Okay, so let's schedule a special. Oh, okay, Heather, go ahead. I thought you, I think you're. Go ahead. Heather? You're muted.
Sorry, my only other question, which is sort of along the same lines, is if we were not to do this immediately, and I speak as someone who works in that building, if the asbestos is specifically located only to the basement, let's say we did this a year from now, could the basement be made, inaccessible, therefore not requiring relocation for all of the departments and all those expenses, and it would just be, and I do not know the answer to that, but that was the first thing that came to my mind, is if it's just located in the basement, maybe that could be shut off and done without disrupting city services in that building.
I will ask that question.
Okay, thank you. Oh, Tracy, go ahead.
I just have one question, Peter. Are we sure that we have a complete estimate for the additional footage that needs to be abated? Only because they do not have access to the record rooms currently, and I'm concerned that there may be additional inside those rooms.
So the pipe that we reviewed, I was there with the abatement contractor, Sullivan Contracting. I was there with the superintendent of VMJR. I was there with the architect. And we walked, and the architect did a follow-up when I was not there. They determined that was the length of pipe that was, Tracy, what I see is the pipe that runs from the front of the building to the back along the walkway to get to the outside in the rear. They gave us a very specific number. They assured us that was the total amount of asbestos remaining. But if they didn't have access to some rooms, you raise a good point. I will have to ask that question.
Okay, thank you.
I think we need to get like more
Yeah.
data here.
Well,
to
I think that's,
understand.
Peter's
Yeah.
gonna try to have that for us on Thursday. So we'll schedule a special meeting for Thursday at 6:15, if that's
This
Thursday? This Thursday, yeah. Yeah.
We're in a month of Ramadan. Starting from
Probably.
I don't know, maybe whether to that, but it's completed the time because
Can we do the day, during the day?
daytime we have work with the work.
6:15.
5:30.
Okay.
5:30.
5:30?
Yeah, as long as we're out by 7.
Okay,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, you definitely got, well. So let's make it for 5:30 Thursday. Go there from tomorrow, I'll come and sign it, and Peter,
Yes,
with all good luck, you'll have what we need to know.
yes,
By 5:30 on Thursday.
yes, I'll do my best.
Thank you very much.
I do, Tom, before
Yes, sir.
Peter leaves, I do have a question.
Okay, Peter, another question?
Sure.
Just real quick, just because it's on my mind, can you give me an update on the Stewart's, project? Because last week we had to throw more money on it, so is that could be another issue? How long is it taking now? Are we gonna have to throw more money at that project when it does turn key?
So the reason for the delay on that project was a supply chain issue on the signal arm. What you'll see in the new configuration is it'll look pretty much similar to the traffic flow. However, there will be a single signal arm, which will carry the weight of all the functioning traffic signals. And the manufacturer of that product, there's very limited, even maybe one in the United States, and they were backlogged last year. And then we got into weather late time for doing pavement, et cetera, and they decided to move the project to spring. So I anticipate that start of that project somewhere in April, as soon as all the snow clears away. They did a little bit of work, very minimal work. There were some issues with National Grid working with some of the infrastructure. But to answer your question, Dominic, I am hopeful there won't be any additional costs there. I don't foresee anything. Everything is hopefully been vetted and is in place and on order, and scheduling is about to occur. I have not heard the exact start date for that project, but it should all be in order, I'm hoping.
Thank you.
Any members of the public wish to speak?
I have
Oh,
one more
sorry.
business item.
Sorry.
The status of the sidewalk law, are we past the 45-day line? Has it been signed?
Not yet, no.
That's Monday, the 27th.
Sorry, what day?
Monday, the 27th, I believe. it is.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing from the public, any council members? Well done. Oh,
I just have one more thing. So with everything in front of us today, I think, and we're only about 3 months into the year.
Yeah.
We're spending, some money here. And, I know we're hoping on the sale of the properties, but we've also cut that out for hopefully saying to the fire company with a vote for some of that, I think, I don't know how quick we can do the turnaround with the Paddock Lake property too, because that's probably another $200,000-$300,000 there. But I think as a council, we need to put some brakes on some things, and really concentrate on health and safety, because I really, I think that this city hall is not, I think we really need to figure out the security thing, if we're doing this all right. And same thing with the asbestos. I do agree, it's better to do it now than try to repeat it, but again, I think we really need to think about our finances and how we can do, some prioritize,
I think we're all always thinking about our finances.
Right.
I hope.
Yeah, but these things are popping up so quick, it's, so.
I get it.
But
Thank you. Anything else? What's that? Oh, Heather, you want to speak again?
I do, sorry. No, just commenting on Dominic's thing, 2 comments. One is in terms of 98 Paddock Place, we are basically waiting for the sheriff's office to be able to serve the eviction notice. And my understanding is they have been backed up. So we were told maybe 3 months ago, it could be 6 to 9 months. So I just want to put that time frame out there, but that process is in place. But I also just want to point out that that property has roughly $110,000 in back taxes on it. So even if we sell it for, $250,000, $300,000, we're only going to see some of that money. But it's still a good thing, and then it'll get back on the tax rolls and all that groovy stuff. But just wanted to give you an idea of the time frame.
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Super nice.
Oh, we have one last thing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so in addition to all of these lovely expenses we're going through, I did want to bring up that we have been exploring cyber insurance coverage for the city. It's not something that we currently have, but as we have witnessed, we have been subject to cyber related issues. Our insurance company, Marshall and Sterling, has provided quotes for us in the $11,000 to $15,000 range for a year's worth of coverage. The range being how much liability we want. The lower end is for 1 million, the higher end is for 2 million in coverage. The quotes that I have expired, so I'll be going back to the companies to get them renewed, and I'm hoping to put that before the council for the April meetings.
With the detail of what.
With all the details and with the proposal.
So now if we get the cyber insurance, not everybody knows we have cyber insurance, so now they're gonna hit us. So now they know we're covered.
Sure, yeah.
The cyber insurance is for possible ransomware situations.
Right, yeah, so I
What is
can
our-
give you more details, but it's privacy breaches, security, forensics, cybercrime, extortion, telephone hacking, a whole.
What kind of-
sections.
What kind of security do we have in place, either administratively or software wise, to try to prevent that? Or is that kind of part of the package?
We do have securities in place through our agreement with Joe Vining. He takes care of a lot of our data privacy with the firewall, We of course now have multi-factor authentication on all of our emails, which is preventing a lot of issues that we had before. And that has actually also enabled us to go out for cyber insurance. We weren't even able to get quotes until we had multi-factor authentication. So I can't go through all of the details. I'm not knowledgeable, but yes, I can provide all of that, what we currently have and what we're looking.
One thing I would also be curious to know if other municipalities carry cyber insurance as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think there's also a good need for either new employees or new council members to have some sort of an onboarding when it comes to safe practices, because some of us that may work in a company where they kind of provide that training, we're very, what's the word for it, vigilant about what we click into, but we can't ensure other employees are as aware. So I think there needs to be something that either comes from your office or, I don't know, whoever would be in charge of city employees.
It's actually conditional to the quotes that we have, that there is training for staff, so that will definitely be.
So Mike, we don't have a we're not server based, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
We are.
Of course we are, okay.
Yes.
Well, because I remember before, our emails are on the server, right?
Right, our emails are currently cloud-based.
Okay,
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, a local agency got hit really bad, and they're still, and it's a year and a half, and they're still digging out from that, and what saved them was their backup information on the server, that was protected. But they had the emails on the server too, so that's it.
I guess that kind of closes the loop on what I'm trying to say, is that we have to have a policy that tries to prevent it, as well as in case of emergency, which is the insurance part. So if we can look at both of those together, it would be a robust way to, protect the city hall and all of our services from, hopefully, because if we just get insurance,
Isn't
the
this
legal-
doesn't actually
bit,
protect us,
yeah.
Would the technology committee be resurrected? I'm thinking of this because this is exactly the kind of thing that you guys should be looking at. and
We can do it ad hoc.
Yeah, they can,
Yeah.
I
think the technology guys should get together.
yes, I'm counting on Arthur to do it.
Digest everything and get us to the press.
Love that journey for us.
Sorry?
I love that journey for us.
Yeah.
Get the band back together. Get the band back. The greatest, a farewell tour.
Yes.
Where are you going?
All but one, I think. All but one, pretty much everybody's.
No, two. You and me.
My family know I got back home, all right?
Brian are
Huh?
Yeah.
leaving the band.
Okay, it's that time.
Yeah. Motion to close the meeting.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no objection? This meeting is over. Thank you.